get more and more volunteers in. I mean, that's the big challenge in football going forward. One of the things that I think the GAA do quite well is they have these things called these people called FLOs, female liaison officers,
Yeah.
which I think is a great idea because, for a lot of men coaches who are kind of, maybe with another male coach, or it's difficult sometimes just as the girls are growing up, just some of the nuances with regard to dealing with females as the players.
That's why we have the girls involved in our academies and with the transition year program and stuff like that. It's to, I suppose, pave the way for them, to give them a taste for it, and they enjoy it. And in 2 or 3 years' time, when they're 19, 20, you would be hoping they'll be looking after your under 10s, your under 12s, and progressing their way up through the club. We're very lucky. We have a female coach involved with the 16s, 17s, and 19s with us, Lisa Dower, who's played League of Ireland football, and she really is the ultimate role model for the girls in the club, the idoliser. So it's very important to have the female participation in every aspect of the club, because it's not a male-dominated sport anymore. It's inclusive. It's as simple as that. Like, the football now is multifaceted. Within our own club, we have the boys set up, the girls set up. We have football for all, which is another important part of the club. So we have to be inclusive. It's as simple as that, and we have to encourage the next generation of girls to step up and take over. Because, as I said, they're the role models.
And what do you see as the biggest needs or areas that need attention to?
Well, I suppose facilities are one of the biggest issues. Even in our own club, we're so big, we've only one pitch. So it's for 30 odd teams. It's very, very difficult. One pitch is all we have. We're in the city centre. No, it's grass. It's grass. So come the winter time, it takes a very heavy battering. So that's very, very challenging.
Where do you train?
We train. We've an Astro for training, which wouldn't be a full-size soccer pitch. So we train there, and a number of our teams then train at local sports facilities. So we're going outside of the.
So hold on a second. So you have 30 teams.
Mm-hmm.
30 teams. So you're probably in around 400 members, 400 players?
Yeah, easily, between schoolboys and schoolgirls, and then you have your junior section. So we'd have almost 500 club members.
500 club members, and when you say 30 teams, 33 teams probably, yeah?
In and around there, yeah.
Yeah. And you have one pitch.
One pitch, yeah.
And the little Astro you're talking about, is that like is that part of your one? Like, I mean, is it to the side of your pitch? Is it on the same grounds?
Yeah, it's on the same grounds. So it's actually behind our pitch.
Okay, so I'd just like to build a picture here. So how do you organize your training? I presume you're training twice a week.
Well, we would train once a week with the club, because the fact that I'm involved with the development squad, and a lot of the girls at all the various age groups are involved with development squads, they're training twice a week. So that brings up.
In general,
once a week you would be training. Now the junior teams would be training twice a week.
Okay, when you say junior teams, you mean
the men,
juniors and seniors?
Yeah.
So your school children are only training once a week?
No, some of them would train twice a week, but their second session is outside of the club grounds.
Oh yeah, so, okay. Well, that's what I mean. So one session in the club and one session out, and that's because your resources, you don't have enough space.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how are you dividing that? They're getting an hour on the AstroTurf?
Yeah. So there's a roster done up at the start of the season. So squads are asked to submit what hours they need, and then when they get their allocated hour, then a lot of us would allocate another hour outside of the ground. So we'd hire out a local facility and train there.
Okay. So, and you're getting you allocate them by hours, do you? An hour at home and
get an hour. Yeah.
Okay. I see a lot of clubs doing that. There's a club up here called Turn Your Rangers. I I think it's got over 800 members, one of the biggest clubs in the country, and it doesn't have an Astro pitch.
Yeah.
And I think it rents 11 different locations. 11
Yeah.
different locations. Yeah, facilities. No,
So
number one, it's
yeah,
outrageous.
facilities definitely number one, and I suppose then it's volunteers. Is always making sure you have enough coaches, which when you have so many teams can prove to be difficult because it is time consuming. Um, from the parties that are doing it, very rewarding, but it's getting the person in at the first place to get them to do it, and then being willing to commit. Um, and I think one of the biggest issues we have then is when the players hit a certain age, it's player retention, because there's so many different things that they're being involved in that sometimes they have to make a choice as to which one they want to pursue.
Yeah. So player retention, volunteers, and facilities are what you feel are the biggest things on your agenda.
Yeah.
So let me I'm really interested in the facilities question here, and I presume that in your vicinity, you said across the road or something like that is your biggest rival, Villa, and what are their
Yeah.
facilities like?
They're a bit ahead of us now, in fairness. They were very lucky enough to purchase land a number of years ago, and they've fundraised and they have an Astro pitch now built to go with their grass pitch. So,
But they still only have one grass pitch and one Astro.
yeah, and they would be of a similar size to us with a
And
membership board.
and can I just ask what the local GAA club is like, or in comparison? And I'm trying to build a picture, because here we have two clubs with the guts of 1,000 players, and only one Astro and two grass pitches between them.
Mm-hmm.
Would you see much of a difference in terms of the GAA clubs, in terms of what they have?
Well, we have a GAA club just across the road as well, and a little bit down Aaron's Own, and they have a fine facility there themselves as well. They have their own pitch and a smaller pitch to go with it. Their membership, I don't know what their membership is like now, to be honest with you. A number of our girls would play with them on the GAA side, and some of our boys. But where we are is really slap bang in the city centre, those three particular clubs. And unfortunately for us, where we are, we're completely landlocked. We have houses all around us, and we have a river as another border as well. So for us, it's
can
a
I
big
ask you
challenge.
then, when you're renting the extra space for the other hour, what kind of places are you renting them in, and what are the facilities like that you're renting?
Okay, well, for matches, we're out in the regional sports centre, which is where Waterford FC play. We play on the back pitches there, so that's rented through the local council. And then for training purposes, we go to the likes of the local Kingfisher club, who have Astro pitch there.
And how would you rate those facilities? Like, in terms of, like, if it's costing you money, are you getting the value for your money? Is it good when you bring your teams? Have you got toilets, dressing rooms, the whole lot?
Yes, you do. You do. Kingfisher would have dressing rooms and toilets and so forth. Now, a lot of the kids, they come prepared, and we'll just use it for the toilets as such, and then go home. The RSC is the same. They have facilities there. Ultimately, it's not the same as playing on your home ground, because when you're doing something like that, you're somewhat kind of truncated. You're in different locations, and you'd love to be within the one area to give that sense of belonging for everyone within the club. So it's not ideal, but unfortunately needs must.